You've probably heard the saying, the fortune is in the follow-up, so what do you need to know? I'm Scott Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California. A perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. Now, here's the thing. When you hear the phrase, the fortune is in the follow-up, you're probably thinking one of the wrong options. You're probably thinking, after I give my presentation, I'm going to make some phone calls, I'm going to text the person, I'm going to email them, I'm going to send them, I'm going to do something to get their attention. But when it comes down to it, questions in the sales process, this is really where the fortune in the follow-up is. The fortune is in the follow-up question. When you're in discovery mode, it's like the sales process works like this. It goes introduction, rapport, discovery process, where you're going to ask some questions to the buyer about what's going on. And in that discovery process, you're going to ask follow-up questions. So the buyer's going to say, I have a problem, a pain, a risk, or a pleasure that I want to achieve. And then you're going to ask them a follow-up question. Now, here's where salespeople screw up. That follow-up question really needs to be based around emotions. That follow-up question should really be based around feelings or fears or things that they're looking for, but it should be, how would that make you feel? What feelings would that give you? There's 20 or 30 different ways to ask this question. You should come up with a bunch of them. But what it really comes down to is the fortune is in the follow-up question. Don't get me wrong. The fortune is in the follow-up at the end of the presentation, when you drive away, when you walk away, when you got to get a hold of that person again. But the real fortune in the follow-up is how you follow up questions in the discovery phase. And one of the best things for you to do is to go on TV and watch somebody like Larry King. Go on TV and watch a very good interviewer and watch how they ask one question, and that evolves and pushes all the way over here into the second question, which is really the meat of the substance, which is really what's going on. And what you're going to do is you're going to find that timing really does matter. Now, some of the best people on the planet who have timing are stand-up comedians. So this is not something where you're like, I'm just going to take 20 or 30 minutes to do this. This is something where this research is going to take you a while. Joe Rogan, for a Joe Rogan experience, is really good on follow-up questions, okay? He's interviewed, he's on 13 or 1,500 interviews, somewhere in there in his podcast. He's interviewed a ton of people, so he's really good on follow-up questions, and he's really calm about it. So there's a couple things that you need to know. One, watch really good interviewers. Two, you got to be calm. You got to be relaxed. You got to be patient. You got to know silence. You got to know timing. Those are like 2 and 3. And 4, you just got to do it. I skipped one for you. You just got to do it. You got to figure out how to do it. The fortune is absolutely in the follow-up, but the fortune is in the follow-up question, not just the follow-up at the end of a sales presentation, okay? So here's the thing. You agree with me, disagree with me, got a story, put it down in the box below. We'll have a conversation. But get really good at follow-up questions. And if the follow-up question should really be based around feelings more than just facts. You need facts, and that's cool, right? So if I'm sitting with a buyer, my formula is usually I ask a question, I ask a clarifying question, and then from there, I ask an emotional question to get that emotion locked in, and then I write down that emotion so that I can talk about it later in the sales process and how I can fix that negativity. Oh, you're angry that your salespeople can't close sales process, right? Okay. So, one of the things that you're going to find with my process is that you don't have to be angry anymore. You're actually going to be really happy, is that your salesperson is going to close some deals. Right? I tie it together. The magic and the fortune is in the follow-up, but it's the follow-up question, not just the follow-up after a sales presentation. There you go. You got one thing to do from here, just one thing. Find the subscribe button and click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update that says Scott Bell Consultant sent out a video. You should check it out, which you should. We'll see you soon. Aloha.